everybody, it's Wendy. Welcome. I'm so excited to show you this project today. This is part of the Grand Vacation Earners blog hop, and I'm going to be using the gift bag punch board today. And really, this punch board is super easy to use. All you do is you line up the end of your paper. You're going to cut it at either 10 inches, 11 inches, or 12 inches long. And then I don't recommend cutting it lengthwise wider than 5 inches. I did 5.5 inches here. That's about as big as I would go. And then just follow the instructions on the board. It's super simple to use, and I've actually linked to a video on my blog on how to use the punch board because it's just easier for them to show you so we can save some time. Stampin' Up! Has a video all about how to use the punch board. So I used the punch board to create this bag, and I'm just going ahead and putting this bag together by folding it excuse me, at the ends, and then folding on the score lines that make the gusset at the top of the bag. I choose to use tear tape for anything that's a bag or a box because it really has a strong hold, and I don't like using snail adhesive for stuff that is holding items or that would put a lot of pressure or tension on a box or a bag. So or on the paper, I should say. So I always use tear tape because it's super strong adhesive. And I did remove the tear tape on the tab at the that I just showed you, and I shouldn't have done that. That was premature for me to remove that because I actually need to run the front of this bag through the Big Shot. So I'm using the tags and labels framelits from Stampin' Up. They are really cute shape, and I'm just going to put the bag flat on the Big Shot, and then I'm going to cut the front of this out so that I make a window. So I'm just using a piece of Post-it note tape and running it through. Now that I've cut it out, I have this little frame that I made out of gold glimmer paper, and I just cut the same size, or I should say I cut a bigger size of that same label out of gold glimmer paper, and then I cut the center of that one out to match up so that it just ended up making this really thin, glimmery little frame going around my window. So I'm using some tear tape now on the back of the window so that I can adhere down. I forgot to put my lid back on my fine tip glue pen there. So that I can adhere down my acetate window sheet. This will go inside the box, so I really don't care what it looks like because no one will ever see it unless they took my box apart. So I'm just laying that down, and then I'm closing the box up in the back by just lining it up at the top and then adhering the whole thing down together. So I have that part of my box done, and then I just need to remove the tear tape from the bottom. Now, I'm sure there's lots of different ways to assemble the bottom of these bags, but for me, the easiest way is to only put adhesive on one flap, fold in all the other flaps, and then the one that had the adhesive to fold it in last so that it just has a nice finished closure. Then I can just push and pinch this closed, and it's gusseted at the top. I have these fun peppermint bark Ghirardelli squares that I'm putting inside the bag with 2 instant coffee packets from Starbucks, and I'm going to give these gifts to some people here in town that just help me out on a regular basis. So I need to make a card, and I need to make the lid for my box. So I need a piece. This is my piece that's left over from my 8.5 by 11 sheet. So it's 3 inches wide by 11 inches long, and I'm able to cut a 2-inch strip, which I'm doing here, to make my lid. And then you just want to score it at a 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch, and you've created a lid. And then the other piece that I cut was 6 inches by 3 inches for my card, for a note card. So I'm just adding tear tape to this is my lid, and I'm just adding tear tape, and a few minutes ago, or seconds ago, I just corner rounded the corners using my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. I'm removing the tear tape, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the back of the box. Now you'll see I made a big boo-boo. I probably shouldn't have filled this box with stuff before I adhered the lid, because when I adhered the lid I got it on crooked, so I ended up having to tear the lid off and then tear the excess paper off there and put more tear tape on and re-adhere it. All the instructions, there's a free printable tutorial on my blog, and all the instructions for or measurements, I should say, for this box are on my blog. So if you go to levinstampin.com, you'll be able to print the free printable instructions there. That's why I'm not taking an enormous amount of time explaining all the measurements. This piece is just a decorative piece from the Home from Christmas Designer Series paper stack. All of the Designer Series paper that's in the annual catalog is on sale right now. If you buy 3, you get 1 free. This is not one of those. Sorry about that. But there is some Christmas in there, so if you need some paper, you can pick it up. I'm just using dimensionals to close this lid down, and so this makes such a cute gusseted bag or box, however you want to look at it, and it's all finished except for the decorations. So now I'm going to show you how to make the card that accompanies this little box. Again, that's paper's cherry cobbler, and it's just cut at 3 by 6 and then folded in half to make a 3 by 3 card. And I have a piece of the Home for Christmas Designer Series paper that I have cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square and rounded the edges, as you saw, with the 1/4 inch edge of my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. And then I have a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 very vanilla square sitting there that I'm going to put on the inside. This is cut from a 2 3/8 inch scallop circle punch, this gold glimmer paper, and that's my first layer down on the middle of this note card. And then I have my leftover piece from cutting out the center of my, or the window, I should say, of my bag. So I'm using that so that I use up scraps. You can see there, I show you that that's cut out from there. And then I have a wood element snowflake that I'm going to adhere with glue dots down to the center of this card. And then I'm going to use some of the gold cording trim to make a bow and add it down with glue dots. I want to mention that the sale is still going on for Stampin' Up! There's lots of stuff on clearance, or I should say discounted right now. It's not on clearance. And you can check out that information over on my blog also at levinstampin.com. This video is part of the Grand Vacation Achievers blog hop, like I said earlier. So there's lots of really talented people involved in this blog hop, and I hope that you check out their blogs also. And this is just for people who have earned one of the Grand Vacations from Stampin' Up! So I'm excited to be part of this hop. So there's my finished card. Just going to adhere that very vanilla piece to the inside, like I mentioned earlier, to give me a place to write a note or to stamp a sentiment. I'm not going to be stamping in it today, but if I decide to later. And then on the outside of this bag, I just wanted to add a snowflake wood element also and tie a little bow to go on top of it so it kind of coordinates with the card. And this is my 3D project for the blog hop. I really love how it turned out, and it was so much fun to make. Again, I know I went really fast through how to use the gift bag punch board. So I am going to link to the video on how to use that punch board in this video and over on my blog. So if you need more instructions on how to use that board, you can get it. So that's my finished product, and then I had already made these because I usually make stuff before I show it to you to make sure it works out well and that it looks good. And so I actually used the bigger wood element on this card, which I like much better. So if I make more, I'll be using the bigger one. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, and I will see you next Monday for our 12 Days of Christmas. Bye-bye.